Hey guys, Exorcist here coming at you this morning. Today we're going to go over some basic stuff that I wish I would have knew when I started playing Marvel Strike Force. And I've actually put this together because I've had a few friends and a few people just reach out to me in general about, well, where do I go? What do I do? When you start any new game, as we all know, there's a lot of features and we get kind of lost. We go, well, what do I focus on? What do I use this for? How do I build? So I'll go over my account a little bit. I am level 63. Certainly, there's a lot of guys out there and gals that are higher than me. My strongest team, it's about 75,000. You can see them there. Cap, Crossbones, Night Nurse, Quake, and Hawkeye. All really good champs. They all have their special abilities and purposes. And this team actually puts out a lot of damage with some survivability due to the heals coming from Night Nurse. So it took some time. It took some time to grind out these champs. It took some time to level them up. You can see that Quake is a 6-star, Crossbones is a 6-star, and that's something that I'm going to spend some time with in this video as well. Two really good champs, and you can get them relatively easy as well as level them up and rank them up. So a couple things there, but before we get started, I want to talk about Marvel Strike Force in general. This game is actually a lot of fun, hasn't been around for a long time. There's always something to do, but it's one of those games where you don't have to commit your life to it. I play a couple games, which you'll see in some other videos, where it requires a lot of time, a lot of grinding. You really got to pay attention all day long. You're part of a group, and they depend on that. This game, you can also be part of an alliance and work together for raids, things like that. But it doesn't require a whole bunch of time. In fact, I spend about probably 30 minutes a day in this game. And then when I want to, but it's about 30 minutes of work, and the rest of it's pleasure. So it's not a hard game. It's a free game, which is great. This is one of the few mobile games that I play that to get an edge, you really don't have to spend money. They have a ton of different offers, and usually the offers, I'll see if I can pull up one, usually they're pretty expensive. And so I don't spend a lot of time looking at offers or picking up any offers for champions, things like that. 30 bucks for Wasp, 30 bucks for Cable. Who wants them? When there's so many good champs in the game that you can get for free, they're kind of putting themselves against the wall on this one. But so you don't have to pay to play this game. You don't have to pay to get higher up and level up, which is kind of a nice feature. It's a free game. These guys right here are your power cores, and you can collect those throughout the game as you go for completing certain objectives. Very easy to get a hold of, and they're basically, outside of gold, the game's main currency. So you don't even really have to grind to be able to use those. What I typically use power cores for is just energy. So as I'm going through different levels, auto fighting, stuff like that for gear, bam, just use that for energy, and I sustain a pretty good level, anywhere between 500 and 1500 power cores. Without spending anything. So it's a fun, free game to play. There's a lot of content, a lot of features. If you wanted to play this game for hours, you definitely could. You have features like Arena. You have features like Blitz that'll go for a long time. Campaign, you can only get so far before you run out of energy and have to start dropping some cores to get there. But there's a lot of content in the game. So one of the best things that I do to level up, and I'm actually going to make another video on this, is doing the daily objectives. There's a ton of them. Orb opening, daily arena battles, you have villain campaign progress, and then you jump down to things like hero campaign progress, training up, total campaign progress, auto win, gearing up, challenges accepted, blitz, restock supplies, and then you get that final all clear. So one cool thing about this is you clear those objectives, you do get Wolverine shards. Wolverine's a pretty good character. He's a little bit slow, but man, his level 3, when it's ranked up, hits like a truck, and I don't care for it, especially against an opponent. But so daily objectives are really good, not only because you can get Wolvie shards, but they give you a sense of direction. This really lays out your morning so you have an idea of where you go. it simply walks you through all of these different steps, and as you're doing that, you start to realize, man, this is helping me hit all the bases. And where I start, like I said, is daily arena battles. Arenas are timed, so you only get so much time, or you have to wait unless you want to spend some cores to restart that time. So I always start with my first arena there. I'll go through the rest of the objectives, and then I'll come back. But this is something that's really important, especially for new players, because you can really learn a sense of where do I go, and you get a ton of stuff along the way. Each different objective actually helps you grow too, which is pretty fun. As you get into things like gearing up, well, every day you want to gear somebody up to hit that objective. So subconsciously or consciously, you're actually growing your champs. Same thing with supplies restocked. You can get a good stockpile there. It's actually a really good guide. So use that. I think that's important. Achievements are something that kind of come as you do those objectives. There's lots of different ones, and the benefit of them, of course, is they give you Hulk shards. So I wouldn't spend too much time obsessing over achievements, but as you do those daily objectives, coming back to that, you'll naturally fall into some of these achievements. So do the daily objectives. That's something that I wish I would have started and doing hard right out of the gate. I do it every day now, and it helps a ton. So the next category is your roster. This is a big portion of the game. Naturally, some champions have better abilities than other ones. And I'll give you just a quick piece of advice. This is something that, again, I wish I would have started from day one or really early on. And I was pretty close to jumping on this bandwagon. But there's champions in this game that are absolutely incredible. Quake being one of those. She is my top champ. She's great because of her ability, Shockwave, will actually clear some positive effects from enemies. So you have like taunts and things like that, healing, and you want to get rid of those. You're able to do that. Her level 1 special does a fair amount of damage, but this guy right here, Earthquake, attack all enemies for 270% damage, apply defense down, which is big, on 3 enemies for 1 turn. Once you get that to its highest ability, you're also going to bring down offense as well, so I'm excited to unlock that, not too far off from doing it. So Quake is a great champ. Get Quake. Crossbones, now his Piston Punch and his Wrath, abilities 1 and 2, they're okay. Wrath will actually give you a counter punch, and it does allow you to bring on the pain from the other team. It's okay. I don't use that. Of course, you see I have Captain America on my main team, and if I'm going to taunt somebody, it's going to be with Cap because he blocks just about everything. Detonate, though, let's talk about this, because early on in the game, when you're able to detonate against your opponents, doesn't matter if you're in arena, if you're in blitz, if you're in story mode, once you hit that detonate button, basically everything falls. It's really outstanding. So you will gain death proof even early on. If you look at the amount of damage that throws out, you're talking 200% damage to self and all enemies. So you're going, whoa, why do I want a guy that blows himself up? If you have any kind of healer, even if you don't, this ability ends fights. It just ends them. And so you team up 2 champions together in that kind of team, you end up having a pretty good combination. You know, you Earthquake with Quake, or you detonate with Crossbones, and then you follow that up with the other one's abilities, and there's not much that can stand in your way. So, and I tell you this is a beginner because 2 really important things. If you go into your supplies, you can see an arena, you can get Quake shards, basically every day for free. You get 5 of those, and you can do that twice within, I think it's a 24-hour period. So do it as often as you can. Worth doing. And then over in Blitz, you can pick up Crossbones. Free champ there as well. So long as you're doing those daily objectives, you'll always have enough credits to get 5 shards of them a day, and like I said, it adds up pretty quick. So you're certainly going to want to do that. Getting into some of the leveling stuff and ranking stuff that I wish I would have known early on, it's important to note that there's a lot of champions in the game that are worth having, and there's a lot that aren't. Early on in the game, yes, you might have to use some of these different minions, like a hand sentry, or characters that we're not familiar with, Kree Cyborg, and yes, they do have their abilities. They have their uh, perks and things like that with different champions. But what you're missing is full abilities. So you're only getting two little abilities. You're not getting any extra added benefit. You'll see most of the main champs have four abilities. So, in my opinion, it's not really worth putting a lot of time, effort, or resources into some of these minions. Focus on your main champs. Who you get, it depends on how much work you're doing, where you're going to get these champions. But spend your time, spend your resources on ranking up champions, not minions. You won't regret that. So, one thing that you can do as well as you're looking to gear up some of these different champions is you have gear tiers. You'll see that most of mine that I use are tier 8. Of course, I'd like to get them higher than that, and every day I work on it. As you get higher towards the top, it gets harder to rank. Stuff takes longer. But gear can be found simply by, oh, I need this piece, find it, and then you can go to these different areas that you've cleared in campaign mode and hit auto run, so you can actually gear up a champ pretty quick. And I try to gear up, at least find a few pieces of gear every day for my champions. And I will spend time, if one's lagging behind, like Crossbones is going to be my next guy that I'm bringing up in terms of ability level. Everybody else has abilities that are in the 4s and 5s, and Crossbones is just kind of sitting down there. I've been waiting on Crossbones because I'm thinking about dropping him as I get higher up in the game for somebody with a little bit more control. But that detonate, man, that's hard to let go because that's such a strong ability. So yeah, with gear, find the gear that you need, rank those champs up, because that also increases their power level and just overall your team rating. So you want to find that gear, and you can do that there. So as you're leveling champions, level champions, not minions. As you're finding gear, look for the gear that you need for those specific champions. Star level makes a big difference, obviously. As you're going to get your team higher and higher, you want them to be as many stars as they can be, because that helps. Some champs naturally have stronger abilities. If you look at my Captain America, he's only 4-star, but he still rates higher than my 6-star Crossbones. So there's some special champs out there. Captain America is one of them. Might do a video on him all by himself one day. So, but there you go. Those are a couple tips that I think are good. You don't have to spend money. You can do this quickly and still have some fun. You can play at your leisure. Daily objectives, do them. Do them every day. It only takes a little bit. I'll go over a full video with daily objectives. I'll show you how I run through it. It takes me probably 20 minutes tops. I don't even think that, but to get that last bit of arena, it's where it gets you. It's pretty quick, overall smooth, and it helps a ton. You grow a lot. Achievements, pay attention to them. See, if you're 2 or 3 pieces away from getting Hulk, yeah, throw some time into achievements. But overall, doing the daily objectives will get them. Champions. Get free Quake, get free Crossbones, Blitz and Arena Shards, very easy to come by, and really good, strong champs that'll help you progress in this game. If you can only get 2 champions to start this game, Quake and Crossbones are the way you need to go. Ranking and leveling, spend time, once again, with ranking champions, not minions, as they won't get you too far. And then when you get into leveling, you want to try to keep up with all of the top levels that you can as well, and level the good champs. So that's what I have for you. A couple of the things that I wish I knew when I started Marvel Strike Force right out of the gate. Raids are important. One thing that you want to look at with that as well. We'll go into alliance and raids into a different video, but try to get hooked up with a good one. It's hard. A lot of lower tiers don't have a lot of activity and movement, but still worth it. If you can find a group to do raids, do raids. It'll also help you grow. So thanks for your time today, guys, and we'll check back in soon. This is Exorcist signing off.